Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shiva. All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creations by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion, and who, in the matter of creation, has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead. The seventh incarnation is that of the immovable entities, which are of six kinds: the fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no support, and the trees with flowers and fruits. All the immovable trees and plants seek their subsistence upwards. They are almost unconscious but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness. The eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know their desirables by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart. Purport. In the Vedas, the symptoms of the lower animals are described as follows. Athe tare sam pashuna asnapi pase evavi vigyanam na vigyatam badanti na vigyatam pashyanti na vidhu shashtanam na loka lokav iti yad va bhuri tamso bahu rushah grhane nev jananti hridayam prati swapriyam vastu eva bindanti bhojan shyanad artham girnanti. Lower animals have knowledge only of things, only of their hunger and thirst. They have no acquired knowledge, no vision. Their behavior exhibits no dependence on formalities. Extensively ignorant, they can know their desirables only by smell, and by such intelligence only can they understand what is favorable and unfavorable. Their knowledge is concerned only with eating and sleeping. Therefore, even the most ferocious lower animals, such as tigers, can be tamed simply by regularly supplying meals and accommodations for sleeping. Only snakes cannot be tamed by such an arrangement. The sense of Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. So, in this part of Srimad Bhagavatam, as we are reading about the creation of this material world, material cosmos manifestation is described. Sad ime prakrita sarga. So prakrita means natural, kind of automatic, as we know, is referred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Sad ime. So these six we have read all beginning from Mahatattva, first, second, false ego ahankara, third, sense object, sense perception, fourth, karmindya gyanindriya, Fifth, controlling the sensory power. And sixth one is ignorance. So these avidya till here is a natural creation by the external energy of the Lord, by the will and by the will of Supreme Lord. Then now, Be Kirtan Api Me Shranu. Be Kirtan means creation by Brahma or creation by intelligence of Brahma. So the beginning 6 phases were done by the Lord, Supreme Lord, or by will of the Lord, Supreme Lord. Now, Ve Kirtan Api Me Shunu. Now you try to hear Ve Kirtan. And Ve Kirtan from Rajo Bhajo Bhagavato. Rajo Bhajo means who is the incarnation of Rajoga. Bhagavato, great devotee. Then Li Leyam is not very tough. He has a lot of effort. He put Brahma. Even though he's put effort, but his Li Leyam is like a pastime of even Brahma. It's a pastime of the Lord also, this beautiful whole creation. Even Brahma also by Hari Medhasa, because he was bestowed with the intelligence of the Lord. So Lord is the topmost intelligence. So that intelligence is bestowed to Brahma because Brahma was assigned by the Lord to create this particular universe. So unless we know the mind of God, unless we know the purpose of creation, unless we know who we are, we will not able to work in the right direction. So this creation, the cause manifestation is certain purpose. And many philosophers, many scientists had or have been trying to understand the whole purpose of creation with different theories, philosophies. Abrahamic philosophy is most popular, which Judaism and which Christianity, Islamic, they are all part of, because they have a prophets to come and say. So they have a lot of, and they all has there was nothing. Out of nothing, something has come. So similarly, the science also talks about some Big Bang and some other theories. So they have some speculative theories, but Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about very detailed process, step-by-step process, how the creation had happened and why it has happened so. It is reason. It's not some random, somehow it happened, we don't know. It's nothing like this. It has a will, plant, and there's a conscious mind is working for the Lord. So as we have read in the previous chapters, so the whole creation, material cosmos creation happened because the Jiva has desired, or Jiva has wrongly desired to enjoy independent of Krishna, or to take the position of Krishna. Krishna is Sarva Akarshiti. And we want to become center of attraction. That's the very first sinful desire Jiva has developed in the heart. Because as soon as the desire is developed, that whole creation takes place by the will of the Lord to accommodate the sinful living entity to fulfill their fancy desire and also reform them by process. So the whole creation, this ahankara played a very great role. That ahankara, there comes the false ego, I am this body. So unless we feel that I am this body, further sense gratification desires will not arise. So the the planning as a creation has happened, even the winding up also same happens in the reverse way, which is being mentioned couple of places in the Bhagavatam. Some of the devotee, they're binding up the, like Yudhishthira, other things being given in the first canto. So that avidya is a very great role, and the purpose of whole creation, yes, to somehow to understand the whole existence, and also try to reform our desire. How the reformation can happen? By the knowledge. Knowledge comes by inquiry. Like Rishabh Deva mentions in the 5th canto, the 5th chapter, the teachings to his son, he says, Parabhavas tavat abodhajato. Parabhavas means defeated. The goal of life defeated because of abodhajato ajnanata. Yavan na jigyasat atmatattvam. Yavan and tavat. Na yavat tavat. So yavan means as long as na jigyasat atmatattvam. Unless we inquire about atmatattva, unless we inquire about own existence, unless we try to know about purpose of the whole world and purpose of my life. So unless we do that, parabhavas tavat abodhajata, while goal of life will be defeated. Like in the beginning of Bhagavatam also is being explained. Dharmasya apavargasya nartho arthayopakalpate. So the dharma, what does dharma mean? Dharma looks, when you ask outside people, dharma looks very heavy terminology, or it has very something maybe complicated. Dharma is actually our natural work. What we are supposed to do. That's called dharma. Occupational duty, Prabhupada translates many places. Dharma means actual work, what we should do. So in the beginning, Bhagavatam is saying, Dharmasya apavargasya. So our work should towards, every work we should do, it should lead us to apavarga. Now apavarga is opposite to pavarga. Pavarga means this material world. Pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Parishram, fena, vyartha, bhaya and mrityu. Who takes you out of this called apavarga. So all our actions should lead to apavarga. Nartho arthayopakalpate. When we do some work, some gain will happen. But dharma should not be done for material gain. But some material gain will come automatically when you do some work. Any work if you do, work should not be done for anything else other than apavarga. But anyway, if you do some work, some gain will come. Then, narthasya dharmai kantasya kamo lavai smrita. So when some material gain comes, so Shastra is saying, narthasya dharma ekantasya, dharma eka antasya, kamo. So material gains should never be used for satisfying your material desire. You get some material desire, a lot of people they get some material benefit out of that. So Shastra is saying, one should not try to use that material gain for their sense gratification. All occupational engagement are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Because the sense gratification desire is our cause for our suffering in this material world. As we run after sense gratification, we can never be happy. So now, so it should not be used for material sense gratification. Anything, whatever you get. Then, kamasya nendri priti, na indri priti. Kamasya means life desires. Na indri priti, life desires should not be for our sense gratification. Labho jivit yavata. So we should do, some senses are, because some they require some sense gratification. So self-preservation. Suppose you are eating as much as you require to keep body and soul together, is allowed. But more you eat is sinful. Do whatever required to keep up your body healthy is allowed. Labho jivet yavata. Jivet yavata. Then jivas tattva jigyasa. Life should be, again same thing. We have read we have seen here also the same statement coming. What is coming for the parabhavas tavat abodhajata yavanna jigyasat atma tattvam. Jigyasam atma tattvam is coming, or here also is the same thing is coming. Why is called jivas tattva jigyasa. Nartho yascheh karme bhi. So it is said that nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So one's work is always meant to inquire about the absolute truth. So that's the reason in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, all the sacrifice lead to transcendental knowledge. Without transcendental knowledge, we cannot come out from this material world. So whatever sacrifice, whatever work you do, they are meant to come to the platform of to transcendental knowledge. To understand my purpose, this world, who we are, what we are. Unless we have that knowledge, we cannot do anything. Will we keep jumping like monkeys here and there? We don't know what to do. Now all scientists are trying different ways, means how this, that to happen. And this knowledge of transcendental knowledge, we cannot get by our speculation. Whatever intelligence brain we must be having. This knowledge has to be given by the bona fide disciplic succession, by the bona fide spiritual master. So ultimately the people work hard, they do so much thing. Ultimate goal is to become happy. That's the goal. So Prabhupada says, even Bhagavatam saying, nothing wrong to be happy. We are meant for happiness. We are meant for ultimate bliss. Anandamyo abhyasat. We are meant for that, nothing wrong. But we must know where to seek happiness. How to be happy. Other day we have seen, as much as we go sense gratification, more and more frustration, the vacuum get created in the heart. As we run after happiness, as we run after for so-called our sensual happiness. So life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiring about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So whatever work one should do in human society is all should mean to lead one towards Krishna. So I just read some portion of purport. It's beautiful purport is writing for this one. The completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards the fulfillment of desires in sense gratification. Because this is a misdirected civilization. Ask people what is the goal of a journey? To become happy, to live with a family and do whatever little good for others. That's it. But our Bhagavatam is completely against. Saying the completely bewildered material civilization is wrongly directed towards the fulfillment of desires in sense gratification. In such civilization, in all the spheres of life, the ultimate end is sense gratification. You see big universities, institutes across the globe. Lot of research is happening, lot of books is being written, lot of things are, science is progressing. But ultimate, their goal is for ahar nidra bhai mithunim cha samanyat etat pasubhi narana dharmo hi tesham eko vishesho dharmen hi na pasu hi samana. Yesterday Parpada also saying, now the two things, hunger and thirst, they can understand the lower animals. The whole civilization heading towards the animal civilization. Prabhupada is animalistic civilization. Or Prabhupada writes some very sarcastically polished animals. They are very intelligent and they are very sophisticated, but they are polished animals. And Prabhupada is writing in this paper, in politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, and ultimately in religion or even salvations, the very same tinge of sense gratification is ever increasingly predominant. Not only the politics, social service, altruism, philanthropy, ultimately in even religions, people want to be happy, sense gratified. So as long as I want to be happy, till then we cannot be happy. It's very ironic. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakliya sant. As long as you desire, I want to enjoy, I want to be happy, you can never be happy. Even material you cannot be happy. Krishna bhakta niskam atev shant. So as a devotee, we must learn that our happiness is giving happiness to Krishna. Actually, devotee never look after happiness. His satisfaction is only to render service to Krishna. So in the political field, the leaders of men fight with one another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leaders only when they promise sense gratification. As long as the voters are dissatisfied in their own sense gratification, they dethrone the leader. The leaders must always disappoint the voters by not satisfying their senses, but they will not be satisfied. Sense gratification cannot happen. This is unconstitutional for the jiva. So that's when you meet people, I am not happy. You cannot be happy unless you are fully Krishna conscious. So as a devotee also we must know, unless I am Krishna conscious, unless we develop love for Krishna, we cannot be, even spiritually also we cannot be happy. The same is applicable in all the field, including religion. We want to be happy. No one is serious about the problem of life. Even those who are on the path of salvation desire to become one with the absolute truth and desire to commit spiritual suicide for sense gratification. There are also sense tendencies, Brahman. But the Bhagavatam says that one should not live for sense gratification. One should satisfy the senses only in so much as required for self-preservation, not otherwise. Nidrahar bihar kadi vijito tyakta tun ashesha mandal patishenam sada tuchhavat. So the Goswamis are teaching us how to lead a human life. It's meant for what? It's not meant for any luxurious living and this material so-called luxurious living is animal life. So that's the reason when you go more Patala, Tala, this they are Nagloka. Very opulent. One place is more opulent than even the Sarga. So more material pleasure, happiness is actually the punishment for those who are revolted against Krishna, so that they cannot come out from that. So unless voluntary we give up, not forceful giving up will not help you. Voluntary, core of the heart you understand, with the transcendental knowledge, voluntary give of sense gratification, it will be stick to us. Like other day we were hearing, when you desire any material desire, it comes and stick to your heart. You desire something else, comes stick to your heart. And we had been desiring so many things that all they are in the core of the heart. And one by one they will keep coming up. Unless even the Lord also cannot throw. Even chanting Hare Krishna will make him little loose, but they will not go off unless you desire, I do not want that. So, unless you cancel, I do not want this, till then they will be there with you. And that will happen by your transcendental knowledge. That will happen when we chant Hare Krishna sincerely, when we serve the spiritual master. By the blessings of the spiritual master, those desires can become slackened. And the whole human life purpose is only for that. There's no other purpose at all. So whatever work we do morning to evening, 24 hours a day, Prabhupada says, it should be heading towards, directing towards that. Am I moving in the right direction or no? Are the material desires getting slack in my heart or no? Many times, many devotees ask Prabhupada, how can I see I am advancing in spiritual life? Prabhupada says, there's no need to give certificate. You see your heart. You see your heart. Just see kama, lobha, krodha, lust, anger, greed, pride, jealousy, envy is moving. Is going on now. As we understand, this material world is like a prison house. So, as a devotee means we are becoming a little better prisoner. I mean to say a little rectifying ourselves. Some prisoner says, hey, I am very good prisoner, whatever. So it's not a great thing, even of. So that's even if one has, I am a good devotee, and that's it's a foolishness. You are in a prison house. Maybe you are trying to rectify gradually, slowly. So the whole purpose of prison house is to reform and go out. So that's the reason Prabhupada used to cry, altruism, philanthropy, whatever if you do, big thing. Useless. Unless it helps Jiva to go near to Krishna, go out from this prison house. So prisoners, they are there in the home. You make them happy, give them nice feast and food. What is the use? So that's why Bhakti Thakur says, now if you compare to millions of hospital opens, in one person you make it liberate from material world, much glorious than bring billions of hospital doing some sources of philanthropic work. Now can you say one person will rectify? If he goes from the jail, then millions of people staying in the house making happy. But they are in the jail only. And many people, why Krishna make dukhalyam? Because jail is meant for dukha only. It's so that you can rectify and go out from that. It's not for settlement. The very existence of this whole creation is so that you purify and go out. And without austerities, Prabhupada says there's no purification. We have to take voluntary. Tapasya means voluntary austerity. Tapo divyam putrika ena sattvam tasmat brahma sukhyatam anantam nayam dev bhajam loke kastam kamam arhate pujani. So easygoing life and our advancement in spiritual path will not happen together. We have to take voluntary austerities. We have to work hard for Krishna, then gradually, slowly, our purification happens. And we have to follow the rules and regulations given by bona fide spirits. Cannot be speculated. Tarko apratishta shrutiyo vivinna. Dharmasya tattvam guhitam vyaya mahajano enagatasa panta. So by your tarka, by your intelligence, by reading the Vedas, by logic, argument, you can never come to the right conclusion. So the devotee's life should not be our own foolish logical conclusions. You don't know, this is way that this should happen. Just follow Mahajano Enagata Sapanta. Dharmastattam. Just follow the instruction given by one of my spiritual master. Guru more murkha dekhi karula sashana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Yahara karana. What is this first line? Anyway, so Guru more murkha dekhi karula sashana. So Prabhupada always says we have to be as a foolish person in front of the spiritual master. Just follow the instruction given by him. Don't use fertile logic and reasoning to contaminate the instructions. So because the body is made of the senses, which also requires a certain amount of satisfaction, the regulated direction for satisfaction of such senses. But ultimately one has to come out. See, regulation vary means why something is regulated, something is a regulation is given. Because it's not good. If good, then you do as much you want. Whatever, there's no regulation chanting, you do 24 chanting, there's no, give this a maximum. Some regulation means not good, now you regulate, gradually you should come out. That's the purpose of regulation. So any amount of sense gratification is meant, yes, gradually you have to try to come out. But for example, marriage or the combination of the man and the woman, Naseva progeny, but is not meant for sense gratification. In the absence of voluntary restriction, there is a propaganda for the family planning. But foolish men do not know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as the search for the absolute truth. So unless there is a Brahma Jigyasa, there is a looking for Krishna to know that till then our heart will be empty and look after something called material happiness. So unless we take anxiety for spiritual upliftment, we're looking for material upliftment. The very same desire or very same inclination should could vanish. So as long as we are inclined towards some level of material happiness or some level of sense gratification, we have to keep getting certain bodies. As we are reading this part of the Brahma is creating so many varieties of the body. Jalajano lakshani isthavram lakchavimsati. Ruddhakam rosam khyaka pakchinam das lakshanam. Dharmashan lakshani pasava chatur lakshani manasa. Padam Purana says the 84 lakhs division. Similarly, Brahma is also creating different varieties of living entity with different category. Padam Purana saying, if a certain object, you can divide in a certain group, different ways. So Padam Purana is different. Brahma is defining or creating with the different ways. So the Brahma in this particular portion is starting from the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th creation done by Brahma. So 7th is creating Sthavar plants, immovable plants. How many varieties there were there? 6 varieties were there. All the plants across the whole universe can be categorized in the 6 categories which are there. The last class also we have discussed in detail. Will not go to depth. Then further he was describing, or it is also said they have a life and the feelings plant has a feelings, but they cannot express it. So that's the reason cutting plants is also a sinful activity. Cutting plant is also a sinful activities. And the 8th creation, what is being created? Lower animals. How many varieties? 28 varieties, which include everything. Insect, reptiles, beasts, birds, put together there. That's it. Then further 9th phase of creation is created the human beings. Chatur Lakshani Manusham. And the 10th division, what is created? Yeah. So there are varieties of demigods, varieties of other people, other than human beings, are being given in that. And those varieties are also systemized way explained. Oh, good Vidura, these last three creation and the creation of demigod, 10th creation, are Vekirta, means created by Brahma's intelligence, and which are different from the previously Prakritic or natural creation done by the will of the Supreme Lord. And those varieties of different demigods are 8 varieties are given. First the demigods, second forefathers, third asura and demons, also kind of demigods, Gandharvas, Apsaras, angels, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Siddha, Charmana, Vidyadhara. So different 8 different varieties, I'm just reading, are being given further explanation. So by this whole way, which the desire, the jiva has developed fancy desire, so that they can satisfy their desire, being described or by created this living entity by this body given by the Brahma, so that the jiva can purify and ultimately go back to Krishna. And one place Prabhupada says that if somehow the devotee carries the material desire, but still is doing lot of devotional service, so somehow Krishna will help him, so he can come out from the body. Somehow he is not able to come out. Sometimes Krishna satisfies those desires in the dream, so that he can get some level of relief and move ahead for the devotional path. So voluntary, unless we give this desire, other this desire will not come. I will stop it. Grintaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada ki jai. Go Prem Nandi Hare.